for and documented many of those community history arts days and took the history back some length of time. In that, we have the directions, but not the specific key directions. They're in a safe somewhere that cannot be found. But for those of you who might want to pass this on or keep it in your mind, the time capsule is buried here underneath the flagpole at the elementary school. So in, I believe, 2032, if I'm correct on that date, 2032, we should be able to take that time capsule out. Now, some of us who worked on that will be around 90 years old, so you can well imagine, if my mind ain't so good tonight, it surely will not be then. So we're working hard on finding and ascertaining that piece of information so that we know where it is and that we keep it, so that some of you in 2032 will have the pleasure of finding out what is in that time capsule. This particular memory slideshow that we're going to do for you was put on at the high school a few years ago. Some of you were able to be there. And again, Jimmy Conway had a say or two in it, and I fear that he's apt to jump up and do the same thing tonight, so I apologize for that if he does. Now I'm going to hand a little bit of this over to Judy, and as we go through these slides, I'm going to probably stop her once in a while and jump in on some of the slides itself. Now, because we have a conflict of work schedule, I'm left with operating this particular laptop. Well, again, I know nothing about this laptop, so we're going to pray to God that this works. So we're going to take it slide by slide. We're going to ask that if you have any comments or any questions, or if there's anything that you can add to any of these slides, we want you to do that. We're trying to add any of this documentation as part of this program so that we can add to it and delete from it if there are mistakes or if there are things that some of us are not familiar enough with, that we've tried to do our homework. But for everyone in this room that ever had a class at Fabius Central School and then Fabius Pompey, Bob Austin had to be a part of your life. And if not then, he still is, and he is 93. And the last parade, if I'm not mistaken, was the DeRuyter Field Days, and he drove one of his vehicles in that particular parade. So he's been a huge part of the school system.
Up here it says if you want, he'll get your test papers out if he wants to know anything. At Jimmy's 50th class reunion, he brought the paper that when he first had Jimmy in class, that all the kids had to figure out and fill out, telling what they did on a farm. So he came over to me and he said, "Do you think that he would read this?" And he said, "Do you think I ought to make him read it?" And I said, "Go ahead." And I said, "Jimmy would make you do that." And he said, "Okay." So he made him get up and read the paper, and it told everything he did on the farm when he was a freshman. So everybody laughed, and he handed out one to each man in Jimmy's class that had taken his classes, and had them all. They didn't all have to read them out loud, but he gave one to each man that was there that was in his class. Now, how's that? He has all the papers. He has all of the yearbooks. And when anyone passes away, he'll meet you and he'll say, "This is the 51st boy I lost." And he goes to all the calling hours and everything. He's really something. Okay.
We're very fortunate to have him, and on that as well. We just have taken pictures that we could put together quickly because we're reducing the 11 by 14 Washington, D.C. photos down to 8 by 10s. So Chuck Kucher's been helping us with that. And on the back table are some samples of those classes. Every single one of those came from Bob Ossen. I think he went on 50 class trips to Washington, D.C. Now, how much Washington can you do? But I'm going to also tell you this little tiny piece that was interesting to Judy and I, because we've been going through, as many of you know, trying to work on an alumni book as well. But after probably the last 8 or 9 years, if you put one of those Washington, D.C. pictures, or now sometimes they go to Florida, I don't know where they go now, but the clothing that those kids wear today, as opposed to what we had to wear, and you didn't get off the bus unless you had hat, gloves, heels, and a suit on. And today, if you don't have flip-flops, shorts, and a tank top on, you just ain't with it, I guess. I don't know, but it's an amazing picture to look at this year's photo of those senior class kids as opposed to, and so Bob said probably that's when he stopped going on the senior trip.
Wait, just 1 minute. How many of you went to Fabius to school? Oh my goodness. All right, pay attention now to these pictures and see if you are in any of the pictures, and if you're not afterwards, go around and see if you can find yourself in any of these pictures on the table, okay?
You're not getting refreshments until you do.
All right.
In 1835, the Pompey Academy was built, and Judy and I have been trying to get the graduates from that first class right through to 2009. This is the Fabius Monument. Well, thank you. Can you hear me now?
No.
Can you hear me now?
No.
Oh, I did it.
Is this Portuguese cowboy?
Well, I did it. Get to it.
Hello. Little technical problem. Try it now. I'm trying. Okay, there we go. Okay. This is the monument in memories of the heroes of the Civil War. And I believe it was 4 years ago that we had a ceremony that honored our Civil War veterans, and we marched to the cemetery. And if you have the opportunity and you can get down there, I encourage you to see what Civil War veterans we have. And here's the Fabius Central School System 100 years ago, meaning 1808, and it looked like this. And I can assure you that one person in this room attended that school system, Charlie Shea. Mabel Pullman. Anyone else in the room? That building is on what we know now as Pettit Street, and that's right here, right behind the Baptist Church.
There's a big marker up there now.
Now there is, yes, it's designated, and that's thanks to Peter Schlick and his diligent work of getting that marker. Thank you, Peter. Delphi Falls School later joined the district. If anybody wants me to stop, say so. This is a home now, am I correct? Apartment, okay. These are closing exercises that were in the Fabius Village School, what they called as a Fabius Village School at that time. The teacher was Mary Webb, mother of Maud Knapp and wife of Walter Knapp. This Main Street School, some people call it, or what we call is the main school that we all graduated from, was constructed in 1931. This is the architect's drawing of the school in 1930, and I think Judy can speak to that.
They started talking about this in 1930, and Mike Shea, Walter Knapp, and Jay Wright were the ones that did the planning on this. Is that right, Charlie? Okay. It's 11 acres. It cost $178,000. It had 425 pupils, 12 grades, 17 teachers. But the big thing of it was, I gotta get my notes up here, it had, let me see, wait a minute. It had all the special stuff in it: a gymnasium, shower rooms, a science department, built-in lockers and bookcases, a health room, a cafeteria, even an electric refrigerator, and up to other date equipment. Drinking fountains in every floor, an auditorium with complete stage and lighting apparatus, and other conveniences. So that was a very modern school for that time. And Tully's was built right around the same time too. And that plane you see right there, look at it, it looks exactly the way it does now. They didn't change it at all. And that was the architect's drawing in 1930, so it's amazing, isn't it?
You know, they went up to this man, the same contract to build that school. And it opened the year that they started.
Repeat that, Judy, so we can repeat that.
Someone went to Mansville
Some of them went up there,
and found one like this.
or they checked with the contract before they started to build this.
They checked with the contractor before they built this school, so, yes.
Could you clarify the numbers? You said 11 acres, 105,000. You really meant 105,000 for the whole project, right?
No, 178,000,
178, that was the whole project, huh?
the whole thing, yeah. But I mean, there's 11 acres altogether, okay?
And this is just it's probably difficult for you to see, but this is what a school cost in 1930. And this is kind of an interesting, as compared to what we're dealing with at this point. The tax rate, the year before the building was $35, $75. It's kind of interesting to see what happened to tax rates. There was a meeting July 23rd, and the districts voted, and they decided to build. And some of those folks we have heard of many times: Denny Dwyer, John Hurley, Walter Dunn, and Mr. Rowley. The school had 425 pupils, 12 grades, and 17 teachers, as Judy said, and 11 acres. Now, take a look at this bunch. This is from 1946. Check out the lakes, check out the shores.
See anybody you know?
I wonder if they won any games. That was a JV team. Here's another bunch of ag boys, 1946. Anybody in there that you know? Sonny Goodrich here?
He's back here.
Oh, Sonny, you were one good-looking dude back then. What happened? Dick Zerbel, I wish he was here. Leland Howe. Leland, let's see, you had hair back then.
I did.
Man. A lot happens, doesn't it?
We have a lot more egg pictures over on the other table over there Mr. Ronson gave us.
Now take a look at these great-looking cheerleaders very, very, very carefully. 1946.
Except he's the second one in, not the one on the end. The one on the end is Jerry Bishop.
What were some of the cheers, Jimmy, that you did? James, what were some of the cheers that you did?
We think he must have been in 6th grade at the time.
He told me one of them was Sis Boom Ba. Whatever that means, I'd rather not ask him.
Oh, he had some funny stuff when he was doing it. The cheerleaders were regular cheerleaders, but when Jim come on, it was like clown.
That's funny.
I remember.
Now, those are some cheerleaders that had some material that they had to carry around. Today, that's not true. Here's a 1947 baseball team. Is there anyone in there that anyone recognizes? Sonny Goodrich thought he could play baseball back then. This is just a little piece that was of significance, we thought, that told about who the leading farmers were in the village and in the town, and some of them owned and operated a sawmill, a grist mill, shingle, machinery, box factory, operation, and then you'll bring us right up to the war year, 1942, and we had many of them that became town clerks and teachers, and that was kind of interesting. Here is some Fabius Central School notes, and what's significant in this is that the Black Letter Banquet was held Thursday, October 6th, and the following received plain letters, and one of them was Charlie Shea. Now, I have no idea what letter he received, but we would like to know the year of that, Charlie.
And he got
Oh, we did? So we're not sure what year that was, but we're hoping that he can give us a little idea, because we don't have anything that tells us what year that was. We advised Walter, and we think that's Walter Knapp, not to walk anymore in his sleep if he wants to continue to attend school. So there was some fun things that went on back then as well. So we were getting a kick out of that. This is the junior class of 1947. This just takes us back in those early years. This is a press club that they had back then. I don't think there's been a press club in quite some time, to my knowledge. Here's the band in 1949. And if you called him band director Wheeler, that was wrong. What did you call him? Spike Wheeler. And that was a pretty good sized band back then. And here's the FFA boys of 1949. And this is Bob Ossen again. If anyone can pick anyone else that's here tonight, we ought to know that. Or else they won't admit it, one or the other. And we're looking for the year of this. Tom Woodford of Birdwood and Clarence Glasgow began driving 2 new school buses. They were 2 new bus drivers. Do you have any idea when that was?
Ron would know.
I died in 47. Started in 41. Or 40. Died in 40 and I died in 47 in the winter.
Well, that gives us a little idea, because we want to try to mark some of these. Now, here's something that a lot of people don't know, that we did have a football team, 1948 to 1949.
6-man.
What was that?
6-man.
6-man team.
6-man team.
Yeah, the only problem was Lafayette Field that year.
And I'm not sure, we're trying to identify, we've got some of the names, but we're trying to identify them, and,
We got our Nettleton on the end.
oh yeah,
We got Tom Woodford in there someplace. The funny thing about that though, was six-man football team, when Lenore came over, they unloaded 6 complete teams. The rest team gave us.
So a lot of folks find it hard that we even had teams, so we have to prove to them that we did. So we try to keep this on docket if we can.
Does anyone remember the football team? You did?
All right, what was the question?
Do you remember having the football team?
Oh, absolutely, I got 2 brothers in there.
And a lot of people were upset because we had a football team?
Well, we couldn't really man a 11-man, and everybody wanted to play 11-man, and they played 6-man. So we got over the soccer after that.
The 6 men were played by almost all of the ones around here. Lafayette, Tully,
The
Fabius.
local schools, it was all 6
And
man.
Lennox before. Well, no one Manly's before they got together to East Syracuse and Fayetteville.
Oh, okay, see, that's probably what it was. Yeah.
I think for ourselves also.
We sure didn't last very long in football. We went right to the 1949 JV basketball crew. Man, alive, look at the legs on this guy right here. No, that's Mr. Howard right there. That's Lee. Yeah. Shorts are pretty short. And we even had a glee club back then. I don't remember Mrs. Barnes, but others do. This is a commencement of the 1947 class.
Now, I have a collection of those programs, and some of them go back to 1912. And so we're going to take these senior pictures eventually and put them above the program. So when you open it up, you'll have the picture that goes with the program. That's our next project.
This was to prove that Grant Goodrich
George Bailey.
actually graduated. Oh yeah, there's his name.
That was the biggest class we had.
That was a big class back then.
28 of them, that's the biggest class.
Since when?
So Tommy moved there.
Yeah.
All right, then we move up to 1950. Here's some more Central School notes, and a couple of notations were that J.A. Wright was a very popular principal at that time, and many people here were part of the school system when he was the principal. This is the faculty from 1950.
How many of you remember any of the faculty?
I remember Mrs. Batt. She liked me as well.
Mrs. Northrup.
1950 basketball team.
Basketball, it looks like baseball.
Well, they look like they got gloves in their hands, so I don't know if they just didn't know what they were doing or baseball is really what it is. That was a pretty good little crew. Emily Esty was an incredible writer, and she graduated the class of 31, and this is one of the poems that she wrote, and had pictures of the class around it. This is 1951. Charlie looks a little younger there. Here are the future farmers of America. And back then, that was a real big, popular chapter of young men from our school system, since we were from very rural. And are there those of you in there that you recognize? Yeah? Some of you won't admit it, but. All right. And in 1951, this is a baccalaureate program, and baccalaureate was just part of what we did as a graduating class, and that's no longer being done. Most all of us remember Lucille Davenport. And thank goodness she had enough of a passion to care about preserving and saving much of the items that have been collected by us over the years. So we are indebted to her for sure. 1953 baseball. Here we go with the football team, 1953. One of the Woodford boys in there. Billy Armin. Anyone recognize anyone in this class?
Where's Harvey, Linda?
I think Harvey's in there somewhere.
That's what we were trying to figure out.
Outside of third row.
Paul Antel.
Or do we have something?
No, I was there somewhere.
Here's the 8th grade class. Marty Bays, yeah.
Yeah, third row.
Here's a little larger faculty in 1953. A little closer up.
And that was the year that George Young died, was 53.
No, that's right.
Now look at this towing team. Look at
Perfect field.
got little Bruce Way, Mikey Palladino.
Bruce Way.
Bruce Way reminds us way.
A couple of them need their toenails cut. This was kind of cute. This was in one of the clippings that Sandy was able to provide for us. If Carl was a pheasant instead of a partridge, if Merwin was blue instead of gray, if Charles was a sweetheart instead of darling, if Calvin was New York instead of Maine, if Arthur was baked until he was done, if Randall was a Buick instead of a Nash, and if Stanley was a key instead of a lock, if Lydia Bell was a mountain instead of a hill, if Maud was dollars instead of nickels, if Alice was an oyster instead of a fish, and if Marjorie was a blue jay instead of a robin, if Van Bergen was a carpenter instead of a smith. Think it over. And Sandy's dad The first senior meeting of the term was held Friday, September 23rd. We're not real sure of the year, but we can get that rather quickly. And he was the treasurer, so that's why Sandy's so good with money. And back then, they had dances in the school gymnasium, and the class members were introduced. Now here we go with the cafeteria staff and some football cheerleaders. Anybody we recognize? And Judy brought her block letter with her tonight. That's right, well, she got it right here. And the football team again, a little bit different looking crew here.
Last year.
Here are some Girl Scouts. I have no idea what troop this is. Here's some of our good old custodians. Back then they wore bow ties and ties. I don't know if they did every day, but they look pretty darn good. JV basketball team. Dan Driscoll is the one who coached this bunch. Got Teddy Knapp, Dale Barber, Bob Mawson, Dave Butler, Eddie Heffernan, Jimmy Gorman, Sipple, Palladino. We got a little bit of everything in there. And this is Walter Knapp, who completed 40 years on the school board. God bless him.
Not what a lot of them said.
Yeah, God bless him. That's right.
They don't see you smiling.
No. Delphi Falls. And for those of you who attended there, you remember Mrs. Gorman and Mrs. Heffernan.
Well, Mrs. Gorman was in Berlin.
She never was in Delphi?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, but she lived in Berlin.
She Cotton's Berlin.
No.
Well, she must have been very popular. And 1957 was a year of glory. The basketball team were division champs. So this is some of the crew that Coach Norris took on. Here's the band.
Girls had skirts.
I joined the band and started French horn. And about the 5th lesson in, Spike said to me, I think you'd be a lot better off carrying the flag. I never even had a flag carrier, so I don't know why. That's how I never stayed with the band. And here's the elementary faculty of 1958. A lot of them we've lost over the years. Here's division championship record. Those are updated sneakers they had. I think that's what did that. And in 1958, we grew some on the back end, put in a new gym. And this tells you in 1957, Pompey was used for the first time. And then we became Fabius Pompey. These are the faculty members from Pompey and Delphi. Let's see, Mrs. McChrystal is 96.
Yeah.
Am I right on that?
Yeah.
And she still enjoys visiting with folks. Here's the JV varsity crew. Woo, what a bunch we were. Falcons. Many of you remember Mr. Slough. Here's volleyball. Future nurses in America. And then you got the future homemakers of America. The future homemakers all got together with the FHA and FFA togetherness. And then we had a little bowling going on. They didn't have bowling shirts back then, I guess, just white tops. Here's most everyone remembers Mrs. Sevier. She was there during most all of our years. We even had a ski club. Started in 1968. They had a club, I don't know if they knew how to ski or not. Varsity club. Now what was that? Do you have anyone know what the varsity club was? I don't know, I can't remember what that was. Larry Carr was, I just not sure that I understood what varsity club was. But I guess it's all for guys. They didn't know what to do with it. Well, girls athletic crew here, little tennis, little volleyball, little soccer. We were trying to get into the groove. Again, cafeteria and custodian staff changed a little bit in 1970. Added a few because we were bigger. Here's a library club, boys a culinary club. I said, no way. You know, so they had to show me that picture. And then we threw in the alma mater. I'd make you all stand up and sing, but I don't want to lead it because I can't sing. Here's 8th grade class of 1971.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a varsity wrestling team.
Yeah.
Does everyone have long hair? I guess they did back then, 71. This is varsity soccer. Here's a Yorkers Club. That became very popular for a while. Because it was Mrs. Cox and you joined it, or you didn't come to class the next day. Here's high school math. Here's the Pompey Elementary teachers. Here's some basketball cheerleaders. Here's faculty and staff in 75. These are students that in 89 we bused to Rosie's for various curriculums. We even had a karate club. Sign language club. Notice the young gal with the long hair in front. She hasn't grown much, but she sure does know how to do sign language. Danielle, where are you?
She left.
Here's some of our pictures that were the fun part of the yearbook. They look like a happy bunch, don't they? 1993. Girls softball. Sue Sweetland, I think your daughter's in there.
Karen.
This is what they call the peer helping team, group of students helping others, volunteering their time. Right there is a bunch that you won't see again for a while. Thank goodness. That's some administrative team people. National Honor Society. It's one of the plays that we put on, Our Town. How much the world changed from 1937 or something.
How many of you found yourself in those pictures? Anybody? Gee, you were in there. Let me see your hands. Oh,
There was an archery class, 46
yeah?
and 47.
I've got pictures of that. Second ones, yeah.
But you didn't bring it up there.
Nobody raising their hand because nobody saw themselves? Barbara did. Okay, there you go.
Girl Scouts.
That was my your hand, you know, we had a real orchestra.
Yeah, years ago, right?
Yeah. Well, it built the whole stadium there with the violins and stuff and all that stuff.
And operettas.
After Swite got here, there was all bands. And there was one. Our music, there was one of the military teacher in here somewhere too, during the war. I don't remember.
Okay, so now you have to go around and see if you're on any of the pictures around on all the tables, and see if you can find yourself there.
Yeah.
I have a little story for you that has nothing to do with Fabius in a way.
That's fine.
I grew up in the Midwest, and every year the Future Farmers of America, during that time, had a convention, and they had it in Kansas City. I happened to go to an all-girls school across town, and that meant I took public transportation, and I stopped downtown. And in September, it was loaded with boys. It was a great time to transfer from one bus to another.
Yeah, that was a smart girl right there.
We used canned stuff, the boys had the garden, they had a victory garden. When school started, us girls had a lot of it, and they used our food in the cafeteria. Yeah.
Did you all ever
Do you
there?
remember that, Hollis or Sonny, that you had a garden, there was gardens in the home ec classes, did the canning, that kind of thing? That's amazing. That's the first time I've heard that.
Well, they changed, the homemakers had to take so many months of the job, and the shop boys had to come up and take some of the homemakers.
So everybody got a turn at one or the other. Rightfully so. Are there any other stories that anyone is willing to share or want to ask Judy about as far as photos or anything?
I have a story also that,
Great.
even though it's I went to Lafayette, you know, there really was a lot of interaction, particularly between the Aces and the Bushes, but that wasn't the story. We came over here for the first time as I did, as a cheerleader, and Lafayette was playing against Fabius in the old gym, and that was the one where if you made a run for the basket, the guys did, you could slam right into the front, the wall, you know. They tried to hang up things over here on mats, you know. I don't think it helped very much. But the cheerleaders were on the side like this, you know. It was hard to do cheers from this position, and then of course all the people were above us. So I was very happy just for not being a Fabiusite, but knowing that the new gym had been built, you know.
There you go.
I remember Donna Stahl in the 50s with the Fabius, hoorah, hoorah, Fabius rock. And she was the one that brought that in when she came to Fabius. And I remember her for that.
Anyone else have anything they want to add or delete or make sure that you've got the right information? We certainly appreciate all of the input that have been given to us, and we continue to try to add, and you just pick a few slides so that you didn't get too bored, but a little variation from the years across the board. So take your time, and we'll be putting refreshments out. Sandy has made some outstanding refreshments, and as you look through these and you have any comments, just come on up and talk to us. So we appreciate you coming out tonight. Judy?
And in my cellar, I have all of the scrapbooks that I've done, and all the pictures and all the stuff. If you make an appointment, you can come at any time and look at the stuff I have. Make yourself welcome.
That's wonderful.